Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. This is Killer 501, and today we're playing Roadwarden. It's a newer game for me, so we're gonna sit down and we're gonna play this for about an hour, just to get kind of a feel for it. I had this on my wish list for a little while, and so it was just one of those. I was like, you know what? Let's sit down and give it a try. So, sit back, relax, and join me as we start this. We marvel at the serenity of the forest and crave the shroud of its silence. Welcome to Sorry. It improves a few stories and bits of interface, but sadly it won't work well with old saves. I recommend starting a playthrough. I am newly available in advanced difficult settings. Huge skew, the opening section of the game. Thanks so much for giving my game a chance for the rewards and everything. Proceed. Cool. Alright, so we're gonna start. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Roadwardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a reasonable, respectable one, and it even pays well. You know what? We'll see that. We'll go standard. We'll jump right in. I'm not gonna sit behind the wall. Wall still standing. There are no wolves around. Good golly. First up. We're gonna... Yeah, we'll turn that down. Thank you. Alright. That was loud in my ear. Good golly. Alright. No stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You're supposed to meet a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and peddlers, but not beast folk nor trolls. And the night is near. Your parfray breathes heavily. It had a long day. Look around cautiously. You gotta make sure nothing's around. Considering the noise, you doubt that anyone noticed the clatter of hooves. The short, dry grass has barely covered the arid soil of the valley, but you may be a minute away from the edge of sparse woods, which get denser as they climb up the hill. At best, this trail has a few more years before getting overgrown for good. Hard to believe it's the only route north. It's overgrown, which means... Let's peek inside. Your heavy boots hit the ground, and there's a pain, and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. Take care of yourself. If you are hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chances you'll die in combat. I approach the gate slowly. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space, and the fireplace is cold. Two people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of light-hearted drinking song of the city harbor. Hmm. What to do, what to do, what to do. It's not a military outpost, that's for sure. Disheartened and tired. Maybe thieves. Do I approach and attack, or do I... We'll go for it. Takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes. His beard is a mess. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace with a head covered in iron hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. Let's look at the second guy. Just like you, she's wearing a Gabeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven, as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, those two surely look the part, though there should be more of them. 8 to believe. We'll remain silent. Let's see what they say. It's nice to see an unarmed traveler in this godforsaken... we won't say it. Makes me just a tiny bit hopeful. The bearded man's voice is strong yet timid. You'll be staying in the night with us, I guess. We're soldiers, he and I, adds the armored woman. Her voice switches from half asleep to relaxed. We'll do our best to keep the camp safe. But if you were to take the first watch, it would be a huge help. Travelers ought to help each other, wouldn't you say? You think for a moment. To fully rest, you need a good sleep. I mean, I'm decent. I'm well. Fantastic. She rubs her hands together. I don't remember the last time I had more than a half a night of sleep. The hours before midnight should be the calmest. Just wake us if anything happens. The man flashes you a wide smile. It's easy to wake us up. Just yell. He drinks from his mug. Ask them about their lieutenant. You wonder how to phrase your question. Let's go with friendly. I was hoping to meet your lieutenant. Be cordial. The woman lets out a loud sigh, dusts off her garment, and walks towards you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. We almost definitely can, you and I. Though holding this rank is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you out of curiosity, or are you looking for help? Here we go. Really. The soldier in the shirt leans forward. That explains how you got here in one piece all by yourself. Better bring your beast here as a lieutenant. We have no hay, but I bet it dreams of dropping its saddle. The long patch. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out a hand. I don't think I ever know of military personnel in like medieval days shaving their head. How? I'll play it cool. Be like, oh, what do we call ourselves? Let's call ourselves unit. We are a unit. Stands with her hand out, but then raises her arms with an awkward smile. Of course, just keeping your horse away from the tents. She steps away. You don't need to smell its dung. Ha! We should also prepare for the night. The soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. We've no tent to spare. You'll have to use the blanket or something. I mean, that's true. We should definitely get used to sleeping on the ground. lower the volume a little bit so you can. Alright. You walk through the grate and your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. Really? What timeline is this? I mean, horses were like a common means of transportation back in the medieval days. I'm curious to see what the the timeline of this is. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You can get in the saddle within a single breath, but most people would know where to even begin from every side its wall of flesh. The horse was brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you would be lost. It's my companion. I'm loyal to my horse. It takes a few steps towards you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes it. Humans see useful animals and even pets as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. But you know that horses need companionship. Speak to it gently and lead it into camp. Yeah, we do. You end up next to the fire pit, removing the saddle from your horse. Makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple minutes to examine its back just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy, it's for such a strong animal, it's enough time to start it to chafe. You wish you had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. You have brought many things, and you lost one of your sacks while fleeing the Crimson Corps besiegers. Worst of all, you have no rope left. But maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you have a few valuable possessions essential to your trade. I don't even need to read. Yeah, I'm a fighter. I'm no mage. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. Spare clothes are still here, just in case, and you take a look at the wooden bowl and mug. Your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knives, nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. What do we got? We got food rations, 5 coins, a leather jerkin, travel set, my well-crafted battle axe, crossbow with 3 bolts. Nice. Return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beasts and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You sit down on the tree log. We'll acknowledge it to a degree. She focuses and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to and less than I should. She nods towards the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of the summer, we were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead. 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, as her commander. Any piece of information? Yeah, anything helps. The man leans forward, his legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, do a magic trick, whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not as much. No soul governs these lands. We'll share what considered to be relevant. Throw them a bone. You tell the soldier little guidance you received since this area is too far away from Holden to keep under control. You were warned, untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits, monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here and look for boundless opportunities, and most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance. The lieutenant drinks from her cup, crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a more comfortable position. Where should I start? Let's ask about their squad. The man shrugs. Bandits happen in monsters. A strong band, though, his companion chirps in. When we got to the peninsula in the spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crosses his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we would all have died. That day, the innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers, stay there at night, lose everything you had. Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away. Who knows where? They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid the wrath. It kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of ours were dead. Don't exaggerate. It's not like the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them, take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough, and we were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. Ooh. Oh boy. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road and saved lives. Nothing would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young, too inexperienced to spend the summer in this place without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a Trinant. Another one ignored my orders and performed some sort of ritual hunt, so a werebear tore to pieces. The last one tried to act tough, didn't tell us that he had a cut on his hand while cleaning his garberson. She let out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed he decided to walk north and find a new life. Disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. We'll remain quiet. Seems defeated. We already know. Let's find out what the mission was. Looks you know the usual, making roads safe, keeping people alive. I explained that it may be important for me to know what they were trying to accomplish. I can't really tell you. You sense no hesitation. Any other questions? Let's figure out what happened to the last one. Tulia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him in almost half a year. The soldiers speak of a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he had stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up, at all in early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of a knife without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on a wax tablet of his, yep, and leave it done. Unlike us, Astrion never gets bored. Tulia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. Yeah, I agree. If anyone knows, they wouldn't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in the basement. The man carves with passion. We haven't seen him or his Sarian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer Roadwardens often use four-legged meat-eating Sarians as their mounts. They have to be tamed and trained since a hatchling, but unlike horses, they can easily defend themselves from many monsters. At least your palfrey is faster and reliable and won't suddenly sink their teeth into an innocent passerby. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message. Neither one of us have had any insight into his dealings, said Tulia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also took a look at Astrian's stuff. Wait. She raised an open palm. I almost forgot. She stands up and heads over to a nearby tent. He has a kid in the village named Holvan. I was planning on take all these things there, a pouch, a second spear, a decent bow, a small potion. Quite a treasure. She glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff. Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders since she hasn't returned. And you know nothing about her. She either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us. Tell us what you've learned about the man, and we'll get back to Holvan together. You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Holvan early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away his possessions. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'd begrudge you anything. And who knows? You may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear mostly, maybe 5 foot tall, be stout, long red beard, short hair, pale face, rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches her legs. So find out what's happening to him, dead or alive. Just let me know. Well, let's ask for some rope. We need rope in this case. You're in luck. She heads towards the crates and moves them aside. Linen, revealing rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down in the chair. Take it. I was planning on leaving it behind. Take a closer look. It's fine rope. Take it and offer some food. Tulia nods for now. You leave the rope on the table. I am not going to offer my food. Those are my travel rations, dang it. How am I supposed to eat when I'm not eating their soup? Good soup. Very good soup. We greatly appreciate the soup. Alright. What do we got? Hunger, nourishment. Let's figure out where we go next. Answers quietly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest of here. If you can afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern room is much more traveled, mentions Tulia, but hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen. He knows many souls. Any tips on... Okay. Avoid cheap jokes, stick to trade, don't waste his time, show him that you can be relied on. Honestly, she's currently rolling a mug on the table. In the city, there's a strict order of, what should I call it? She exchanges looks with her companion, but what he can't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Olivon chief selects commanders, those select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If the lieutenant dies, they get replaced and the next soldier in line. Huh. No, not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either one of them from the spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shields. Really unpleasant. She pauses. We don't want a dog on the dead. And we'll go with that, basically. She says with that, I don't plan on becoming a leader, though. I will get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. Story is where some merchants built the camp to have an extra stop for mules and donkeys, and just between the inn and southern village. There's plenty of grass here, the pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time serving as a shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here whenever you want. The man concludes their tale, though don't expect to wake up without a pain in your back. Fine, we'll talk about the peninsula, since you know the peninsula. I gotta ask all these questions. I'll tell you one I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get free from the city on a decent palfrey? I'd guess it would be 3-4 days. When you confirm, she continues. From here, you'll reach the coast in a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get here? He nods. The sea routes allow Havan officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools, but maintaining order on the wild coasts, such as this one, is like filling the ocean depths with coin. Well, someone called Midas. Midas would be able to take care of it. Because of the rocks, hardly stop a ship 5 miles from shore. The boats can't get much closer. She nods. I don't know much about fishing. There's not many people living on the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. She pauses. Her companion carries on. No souls from the north ever came to the camp, but when we travel on the roadside and pelt of the north, they're happy to trade and play dice. Might just stay in one of the settlements. Man clears his throat. I mean, you know, we're to guard this road, and the camp is our post. And well, he turns to Tully as she lowers her voice. Don't take us the wrong way, unit. Forgot that was my name already. But are you a devoted soul? Like most city folk, I believe people should unite their strengths and overcome threats of natural disaster. Everyone will be judged. Goods and evil deeds are part of the United Church. For many years, I suppose, supported a monastery and go. That does the best advantage of mankind's spiritual growth and an order of truth. From small freedom, shelf, and almost souls, the main virtues of life, make communities unique and independent. We support the church. A fellow united. The man smiles. Though in these lands it won't bring much good. At least we can discuss the topic freely, as the lieutenant. Barely visible smile. Let's get into it. The people here are disquieting. Every few words she taps her finger on the table. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials here. She starts to draw a line, index finger. She points an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads, a big circle. In the northwestern, you'll find a weird village at a bog. Not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an Emorite. She nod. You nod. She means a fellowship. Whatever. Good golly. They do crazy stuff, her companion chirps in. They use the dead to cut down... What? Use the dead to cut down trees and dig soil. Once I saw it. I begged to never return. Huh. You have heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If the isolated settlements manage to survive without the city's interference, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the more rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages. Ooh, that'd have been cool to be a necromancer. The bringers of doom, the traitors of humankind. Were you able to speak to these necromancers? Hey, they already know. How about the east? Any monsters worth mentioning? Catch my mount. We care about the mount. We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spiked boars, molfin eaters, griffins. I want a griffin, but we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Tilia glances at her companion. Though a palfrey should be fine, the trees are so tall the flying creatures keep to the coast and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting amongst themselves. They fight more for food than territory, and the soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count your luck. I want you speak to the necromancers. You can see why we were not eager to get there if we could avoid it. Lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to our road warden. The roads are dangerous with a little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points his finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll get to an inn first and soon. Tulian nods. Pelt of the north is a safe place. You can talk to the innkeeper or the guards. Ask them about the road. That'll be it. I guess we'll try to ask. I can't really tell you, say. It would be nice to have a reliable outpost somewhere nearby, a place where you can always find a group of fighters willing to protect you in the name of the law. She tilts her head back. Now, if you have any other questions, it's getting late. I agree, totally sighs in relief. And may you do better than Astrion did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, Shatter, wearing the mask of a soldier. You go to a barrel and splash your water on the face, and which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to Oh, what? Horses nap on the ground. Are you telling me this horse is napping standing up? I don't think I've ever seen that. Where's my chair? I don't get a chair. I guess I've been sitting. Let's prepare for your watch. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There are plenty of griffins about, though they won't try and jump over the palisades. Probably better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry out any food they can find. And there is this one really loud were-elk. A were-elk. That's different. That keeps smelling the walls, though it never tries to get in. He points at the gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us out. And if someone is being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If you get cold, feel free to make a fire, and the best place is the watchtower. Sorry. I apologize. A lot of reading. Place places on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something. Watchtower? He gives you a long puzzled look. Oh yeah. He points to the pile of crates. Just climb up on the tallest one in great view of the northern side, the more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points to the tent on the other side of the camp. I can handle a couple hours of sleep on the ground if you wish. Go there and after me and rest just this once at least. I have a pallet inside. It means a lot. You put on your blanket on the tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshment. From time to time, your back aches and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grasses. From time to time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are no exceptions. At one point, you see a three-horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash their antlers, a two-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. A furry beast tries to imitate the predators with furry beasts try to intimidate the predators with words of aggression and aggressive head moves. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight. Alright, gotta stay focused. Literally and metaphorically. Recording this late. You hear death screams of distant prey and the mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of moccasin lazily chew on grass, preparing themselves for sleep. A dusk wolf is running together with a lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there watching the not-so-distant forest, trying to outlast your sleeplessness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down to the tent, waking the bearded man with just a couple words to confirm nothing important had happened. I gather my things, squeeze into the tent, I use my bags as pillows, use my blanket on the pallet, and cover myself with a cloak. Sleeping in the tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's much welcome rest. The pallet keeps the cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. Listen to your own breath and find comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. I need to focus on the real goal of my journey. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of the realm. Your wandering duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula, learn about the territory, resources, and threats. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiation with Halvalon officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers or threat of the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, and slavery? We already knew this. At least I have time. 40 days to be exact. I need to be as thorough as I can. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Holvion. Therefore, you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your goal to pursue. I need to gather some extra coins so I can save my siblings from debt collectors. Whoa, this is getting interesting. I need to gather some extra coins and retire early and live prosperity and safety. If I gather enough connections among the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchants Guild. I want to be remembered as a soul who brought peace and order to the realm, and a hero. I just want to help people. Make this region safer to locals and newcomers. Necromancers. I want to find a new life. New life. Your half-asleep sense of catching the sound of the force when your instincts keep you alert and anxious. Though the pleasant humidity and late summer evens it slowly. Okay. You're thinking about your goal. You need to gather strength. Sleep! You can spend the night in a borrowed tent. It's nothing special, but if it will protect you from the wind and rain and the ground and won't be painful. I heard a bear. I don't know if you heard that. Alright, we slept. You've woken up by sunlight, well rested and ready without a hassle. You gather your things. After a couple of breaths, you even notice a weird smell like roast. No, burning meat. Burning rotten meat. Disgusting. Crawls into your conscience. You exit the tent. Your horse is looking around nervously, and your bags were had left, and you see the open. You can go out see it. I apologize. I do not mean to do this. My nose all of a sudden decided to be clogged, so it is hard to read and do this at the same time. Alright. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pirate. Man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tulia is the first to address you. Unit, she greets you with a nod. We use your horse's manure for the flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or woman, but it's an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. Traveler or undead? The latter, a young one. She lacks the pneumonia to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear from a safe distance. She shifted her weight one more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gathering more and more strength. Gathering more strength with each soul it devours, and each moment it spends in the fogs. Burning the dead is not just a religious practice, it's necessary. Soldiers, priests, villagers, mayors, and even road wardens making large prayers take a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls the undead a she. Most unities hesitate to do so. Time for me to leave. Running away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She walks with you for a few steps. Find us here if you need us, or if you learn what happens to Astrion. There's enough ground here for you to rest. Safe travels. These words make you stop. An old farewell mocked in the number of songs and tales, but yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. You wonder how many acts of kindness like this one you're going to experience in the following days. She returns to the pyre. I prepare myself for the journey. You've somehow missed the fact that your mount already saddled and warmed up. You double check your equipment, but you don't need to fix anything. The soldiers were diligent. Normally, preparing palfreys for a long journey takes time. You put on your gamson and make sure that your axe is tightly attached to your belt, and you get in the saddle. Palfrey knickers ready to leave. It's time for you to go to the crossroads. Alright. Well, hate to tell you, we're going to end this one here. Seeing as that took an hour just to get through this first freaking part, let me know if you want to see more of this. Granted, I don't know how I feel about it, simply because, you know, there's a lot going on with it. There is a exorbitant amount of reading, which, being a dyslexic as I am, I mean, I can get through it, but it's just, I unfortunately like slur my words and everything, so that just kind of sucks. But yeah, just let me know. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a like if you want more of this, and we will see